Hello, I'm Jody Wolf. You're watching Expoz on July 5, 2016 at 12:08 a.m. in Birmingham. And the topic, the locust that comes upon the earth and stings man. Let me tell you a little story leading up to that. When I was young, and I mean young, I didn't know much about heaven and hell. At least I didn't think I did. But reflecting back on this story, maybe I knew more than I thought. I always played with locusts from the time I was young. And the reason was, keep in mind, I've got the mind of a young boy. And somehow, some way, I hear that these things in the future will sting people. Well, here I am, 5 years old. I want to try to make friends with them, while I'm young, so that maybe when I get older, they won't sting me. And I did that. I just played with locusts and I played with June bugs all the time. I'd tie strings to a leg and let them, I wasn't playing with them, but the locusts, they're ugly creatures, the ones that come out every 7 or so years. But this is a story that I guess is self-taught. I don't know how or where or what made me do that, but I did it. Again, I was young and I remember it well. Well, let me tell you what happened. As the years go by, and then I have a granddaughter. At age 5, actually before that, but they lived with me here for 4 or 5 years, my daughter and granddaughter. And I taught her the very same thing that I had on my mind. Every time I would hear a locust, I would tell my granddaughter, don't be afraid of them. They won't hurt you. And I would tell her a tale that they're in the Bible, that they'll come out at a time and they'll hurt people. She's inquisitive and wants to know why. I said, because they're bad people. And what will they do to them? I said, they will sting them and it'll hurt really bad. She said, do they die? I said, no, they don't die. But it's a very painful. And she asked me, then why are you playing with them? I said, so to let you know that they won't hurt you. She's 5 years old. She grew up with worms and roly-polies and locusts and June bugs and all kinds of other things that she's not afraid of. But I also taught her what it says in the Bible in Revelations chapter 9, verse 3 to 12. Locusts will sting like scorpions. They had the sting of a scorpion. And they would come upon out of the ground and they would sting men for a period of 5 months. God forbid them to eat anything green, because this is what locusts do. They ravage thousands of acres and put many states or small countries, well, like they do in Africa. They crops and just widespread. I mean, devastate a crop of corn or any other crop as far as that goes. When the hundreds of millions of these things come out of the ground, Australia, they did the same thing. They did right here what we called in America the Dust Bowl. They came through. They ate everything that was green. In fact, they ate everything that was brown too. But still, in Revelations chapter 9, verse 3 to 12, clearly They're forbidden to harm anything that's green. That's grass, that's tree leaves. Anything that's green, God told them, you cannot eat those. But you do sting those who have not the mark, my mark, on them, and those that are not protected by me. And men in those days will be stung. But God makes it clear as well to the locust. You'll not sting anything that belongs to me, but you will sting everything that does not belong to me. That's all those who have not accepted Christ, all those who've not yet made a decision to come over to Christ. Keep in mind, we are in the book of Revelations, or in the tribulation period. We are gone. Christians have left already. But you have here those who've not received the mark of the beast, but yet who've not accepted Christ. When they accept Christ, they're protected. That sting is over. But this will go on for 5 months in those days. So my granddaughter, here she is, playing with locusts, holding them in her hand. And she pets them. And she told me one day, recently, she said, we're friends. I said, I know you are. She said, they won't ever sting me. I said, no, ma'am, they won't. But you know, these that I'm talking about in those in the days of the Great Tribulation period, they're probably not the same. We don't know. They could be, but probably not the same. But I can't tell you one way or the other if they are. But for 5 months, they will sting men, and it will be extremely painful, and they will sting as many times as they want. And that means severely every day. Every man, every woman will be stung by these things. That's part of the judgments that's come upon the people here on earth. I just wanted to bring that to your awareness, and I'm sure a lot of you look at it differently, but this is an innocent way that I taught my grandchild that these very things, and I showed her the book, showed her the verse, and even went and found pictures. These are the things that will hurt men one day. I said, but God taught him not to hurt you because you belong to him. And she walks around and petting her locust every time she sees them or can catch them. But I just wanted to pass that along. Although it's an innocent way to tell her that you're under God's protection when these things will not sting you. But if you're not under his protection, then they will sting you. But she also drew a picture for me, and I've got it here. And all I remember is like she drew an earth, and you can see where she tried to draw an outline of the United States by looking at a map I have right here on the wall. But she also drew little thin lines, and then at the tops of them she put a little white mark. And I asked her what that was. She said, that's us going home one day. I said, very good. She did that, guys, at 5 years old. That's us going home one day. I said, and what are they? She said, streaks of light. I said, very good. Wanted to pass that along. But I've got one coming up that the stars that fall, and you're not going to believe what the stars are. It's going to surprise you. Jody Wolf Expoz.